first. Sometimes I start the Instagram first. Okay. Hello, everyone. We are live on Instagram. We are live on YouTube. And I am here to continue a conversation that we started having yesterday on my live stream, talking about really this loop that it is so easy for people to get stuck in, where you're just seeing the same pattern play out in your life again and again and again. So a common example of this might be you just keep attracting the same partner with a different name. Or maybe it's you get into a certain amount of debt, you pay that debt off, and then all of a sudden you have that same amount of debt again. These are internal patterns. Maybe you lose a certain amount of weight and then you gain that same exact amount of weight back and you just keep oscillating between, but you never really make a lasting, sustainable transformation. And this could be true across your life, or this could be true in one area. So for a lot of people listening, it's going to be that you have made a, really good stride and a really solid transformation in, let's say, your fitness, but in dating and relationships, it's much harder. Or maybe you've made a lot of strides financially, but you are struggling in your relationship with your family and you're struggling to really find that like harmonious, loving dynamic with your family members that you know that you want to have. And so, regardless of where this is meeting you, this conversation is one that I want you to really take to heart, to open up and to listen, and to be asking yourself, how is this speaking to me? Like, how does this apply to my situation? Everyone is going to be meeting this differently. And something that I heard recently that I want to say here too before we dive into the topic is you process information through the lens of where you currently are. And so I know that we've all had this experience of you read a book or you take a course or you listen to a podcast episode, and at one point in your life you have certain takeaways, but then 5 years later you listen to the exact same thing or you read the exact same thing, and then your takeaways are completely different. Why is that? That's because information always meets you where you're at, and you're always going to get what you need most out of it. And so, what you need most is going to come forward. Just listen with an open mind and know that when you come back and listen to this again, you're going to get something totally different out of it. And so, with that being said, I also want to let you know I am going to be emailing out the replay of this live stream on Friday of this week. So I'm going live every day this week, Monday to Friday. And then on Friday evening, I'm going to be emailing you the replays of every single live stream in this series, because I want you to be able to come back to these again and again and again. These are really powerful transmissions. These are really important teachings. And these are the kinds of things that you want to contemplate more than once. And so, especially if you are joining me from Instagram, where the live streams get shoved down to the bottom of the feed and it is so hard to find them, if you want every single live stream just organized and hand delivered to you, make sure that you sign up for that service. It is at the link in my Instagram stories. If you are listening to this via YouTube Live, the link will be in the description of this YouTube video, and you will be able to have me email you the replay of this live stream. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let me just drop the link to that in the YouTube chat, because that might even make it easier for people. So I'm going to do that super quick, and we are all going to bear with me. And then, of course, if you're listening on the Cozy Co-Creation podcast, it's all down below as well. So everything is very easy to find. I try to make things smooth. Okay, and I'm just going to write something. If you want the replays emailed to you, sign up for that. Sign up here. Okay. Cool. So that is all taken care of. That's all out of the way. Other piece of housekeeping is that I am going to be hosting a retreat in June called the U 2.0 retreat. And that is geared towards helping you level up and evolve into the next version of yourself, but doing it from a place of love, not from a place of escapism, not from a place of trying to keep up with the Joneses and just get your life to look a certain way so that people will think certain things about you. This isn't about trying to keep up or to put on an appearance. This is about coming from a place of I love myself and I have a strong vision for my life, and I am moving towards that vision from the foundation that I deserve it, from the foundation that this is what I organically, authentically want for myself, not something that someone else told me I'm supposed to want, not just wanting what everybody else has so I can be a part of the group or whatever that might be, but from a really spiritually mature place of like, I love myself and I want to give myself the best life possible. That is what we're going to be doing at the U 2.0 retreat. The tagline of the retreat is actually level up with love. And that is really what we're going to be focusing on. So it's a 4-person retreat. We are going to be meeting in the Catskill Mountains, June 20th to 22nd. If you want to come to that, you can go ahead and get on the wait list. The wait list closes on March 20th. And if you're joining me on Instagram, you can find the wait list link at the link in my bio. If you're joining me on YouTube, I'm going to also pop that into the chat now so that we have it. And then we'll jump into today's topic. U 2.0 retreat waitlist. And of course, I have to go find my own link to my event. Okay. All right. Now we're ready to really go. Let's dig in. So, yesterday I was talking about what happens when you're getting stuck in a loop. The first thing that you need to check in on is, are you making your circumstances mean something about who you are? Now, this is very nuanced. This requires a lot of self awareness. Are you the kind of person who says, I keep attracting misaligned partners, I keep dating people that aren't really a right fit for me? And then you're going the step further and saying, I'm bad at dating, right? Now, this is a situation and we have made it who we are. Maybe you are, like I described earlier with money. Maybe you're struggling to get to your next income level. Maybe you are running a business and your business is making $10,000 a month and you're like, I really want to get to 15,000, let's just say, a month. And you're like, I'm not good at this. I can't make this happen. Now you're making it about you. Where are you taking your situation and making it about you? So that is what we talked about yesterday, and the replay of that live stream is available for you. Now, today we are going to be doing a part 2 of this conversation, and I really want to talk to you again from this place of like real spiritual maturity. Where are you fighting your situation? So, whether you make it about you or not, which if you listen to yesterday's, you're no longer doing that or you're on the path to rooting that out, the next step is actually to say for yourself, whatever the situation is, I can handle it. If I'm not where I want to be, that's okay. And part of that is that's okay because I know myself and I know I'm going to continue evolving and I know I'm going to continue moving forward. But another part of that is this is okay because I believe foundationally that my life is set up to support me. My life is set up to foster my growth and my evolution. And on a spiritual level, I understand that God, Spirit, the universe, the divine would not put me in this situation if it was going to harm me, if it was going to leave me worse than how it started. And so maybe you are going through a tricky season or a situation in your life that doesn't feel good. What you need to decide and to realize is, I am going to leave this situation better than I found it. And while I'm here, how can I use this as a tool for my own evolution and for my own growth? So instead of sitting around continuing to complain about your circumstances and wishing that your circumstances were better than what they really are, you need to start having conversations with yourself and conversations with God, with spirit, with the divine, whatever word works best for you. You need to start having those conversations and praying those prayers of like, what is the lesson here for me? what is this showing to me? What is this reflecting back to me about a place where I need to grow? Maybe there's a situation that I haven't healed. Maybe there's something that I need to forgive. And it's going to be very, very specific. Like every time I have this happen for me and I'm like, why am I in this situation? What is this teaching me? I always get back such a personalized response from God whenever I pray about this. And so, for you listening, your step here is to actually pray and open up a discussion with God and say, "Hey, God, I trust you. I know that I'm in this situation because you're doing something with it. You're putting me in this situation to help me. You're putting me in this situation to prepare me." And so, given all of that, given that level of trust that I have with you, I am going to ask you, how can I use this time wisely? How can I use this season effectively? What can I be doing right from this place to heal, to expand, to evolve? And then the other thing also is, are you cutting yourself off from expansion because you're not in the place where you want to be? And this is a deeper conversation, but a lot of the times what gets us out of our power and what leaves us feeling so discouraged in our evolution is when we start believing that we can't grow at all because one area of our life feels stagnant. And so let's say you're not feeling where you want to be financially, but in your career, you can still grow. And a lot of people do not actually recognize that. There's so much that you can do from right where you are. If you're not where you want to be in terms of your relationship with food, there's something you can do in terms of your relationship with your body and moving and working out that would move you forward, right? If you're not where you want to be with your family, can you show up differently with your friends? There's always something that you can do, whether it's adjacent, like how I've been saying, money, career, food, fitness, family, friends. Like maybe there's something adjacent that you can do where it's like, I don't exactly know what the answer is to move this situation forward, but let me really show up in this other situation where I know I can move it forward. And the thing that I teach to my clients is a rising tide lifts all boats. And what that really means is that when we improve in one way, we up the baseline quality of life for our whole situation. And so we transform by proxy, right? You can transform in one area and that will lift up all areas of your life. And I'll even tell you a little story about this. So this wasn't even in adjacent areas, but I was feeling creatively uninspired and stagnant in my business and feeling like, nothing I'm doing is really inspiring to me. And I don't really love the work that I'm doing. And that didn't mean that I didn't love my clients. I always love my clients and I always care so much about like the people that I'm working with. But it was just like, I don't have any fresh ideas. This doesn't feel fun anymore the way that it used to in the past. And I knew that. And I didn't even know the answer. I almost started to feel like I was tapped out with the level of creativity that I could have in my business. And I decided to make a change in a completely different area of my life. I decided to make a change in fitness. I decided I wanted to be able to run a 5K. And for those of you who've heard this story, you're going to muscle through it with me. For those of you who are new and who've never heard this, in the summer of 2024, I decided I was going to do the Couch to 5K program, which is a program put out by the British NHS department or the UK NHS. Sorry, I don't know the correct political terms for Britain or UK, whatever, but like I was going to do this program, right? And cardio for me had always been tricky because I grew up having asthma and I grew up feeling like, oh, running isn't really my thing and I can't really run and like whatever, like just being afraid of running, right? And so I decided I don't know what to do about this thing in my business. It feels stuck and I don't feel connected, but I am going to make a massive change in another area of my life, another area where I feel stuck, another area where I feel capped and where I feel like, am I able to really make this change or is this as good as it's ever going to get, right? When I noticed myself having that conversation, I was like, okay, I can run, even though I don't know what to do with my business. I'm going to learn how to run. And I'm going to let that be my personal project of transcending a limitation that I have for myself, transcending a story that I'm telling myself of like, I'm just not the kind of person who can do this, or I'm just not good at this, or I just don't like this, I'm afraid of this, whatever it may be. And so I spent that summer doing that program and learning how to run. And by the fall, I was able to run a 5K. And I was so proud of myself. And the craziest thing happened. I decided to start showing up differently on YouTube. I decided to take my YouTube channel seriously. I decided to say, like, okay, we're going to set the first milestone of my YouTube channel, which is monetization. We're going to set that goal and we're really going to run for it and we're really going to pursue it. And I had not even really considered taking my YouTube channel seriously, even though it was something that, like, in theory I kind of wanted. And I was like daydreaming about it. Wouldn't it be cool to be a YouTuber? But I never let myself really run in that direction before. But once I conquered that perceived limitation in one area of my life, I was able to actually level up in this other area of my life. And I could not have done that if I was so focused on this sucks, I'm uninspired, I can't do it, and really just looking at my situation like, ugh, this is horrible, and fighting the whole thing. I ended up actually just surrendering it, just saying, okay, this doesn't feel great. I'm going to put it to the side. I didn't quit my business. I kept showing up, but I was like, I'm not going to like wrestle with this. Instead, I'm going to go tackle something else that feels similar in my life. And this is where it becomes like kind of trippy, like very like next level movement of energy, like metaphysical stuff, because what I'm realizing and what I hope you're realizing too is it's not so much the logistics day to day of what you're doing. It's always the energy behind the situation. And what God, Spirit, the universe is always trying to do is help us work on our energy because we are energetic beings. We are beings that exist in the physical plane, but we come from the spiritual realm and we will return to the spiritual realm once our physical time is up. And so the spirit, the divine, the universe, God is always most concerned with the state of our inner world because that is a reflection of the state of our soul. And our soul is the only eternal thing about us. And so when we do this work of like, what's happening beneath the surface? What's going on energetically for me here? And how can I actually heal the energy of my situation, not just the logistics of my situation, I will be able to actually find the solution kind of by going the back way, kind of by going through this like spiritual shortcut to where I didn't have to bang my head against the wall trying to solve this business problem. I just fixed the energy by doing something completely unrelated, right? And then the business problem got fixed. And so this is available to you no matter what situation you find yourself in where you are feeling tempted to start resisting your situation. First of all, the level of anxiety relief that you will feel when you just put your situation down and let it be what it is and trust that it is going to be used for your good and trust that it's actually an opportunity for you to heal your energy, your anxiety is going to go down like nothing else. For that reason alone, I would encourage you to really listen to what I'm saying on this live stream and really take it to heart. And then beyond the benefits in terms of your anxiety and your cortisol levels and everything, you will actually be able to change your situation. You'll actually be able to up-level your life in whatever area you're feeling stuck. And so when you're feeling like there's a situation in your life that like it just won't move and you don't know why, and it's just tricky and confusing, instead of hammering away at that situation and trying to force it to change, get curious about what is the energetic lesson? What is the spiritual lesson that I need to learn from this situation? And how can I actually let this situation grow me and expand me and stretch me as a person? And how can I lean into growth in this area? And how can I lean into growth energetically? And how can I let that growth just heal and transform the situation and put the situation in whatever place it needs to go? And so let me know how this is landing for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if this resonates. I have so much more to say. I have some notes. I'm going to get some water and look at my notes, and then I'll be back in a second. Okay. So the other place I wanted to go here for this conversation is really inviting you to look at all aspects of your life, even the ones that you want to see change, as something that you can actually appreciate. And this is going to be different again, specifically for every person, but I'm going to share some stuff from my own life and hope that that helps you kind of click in and see, like, okay, this is what's true for me. So, one season of my life, I was going through a period of time where I didn't really feel like eating out a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to spend my money in other ways. I'm trying to use money to grow my business. I'm trying to use money to take care of like some health issues. I'm trying to use money like for, other stuff. And I used to eat out a ton. I used to DoorDash all the time. I used to just like spend a lot of money on food, basically. And I was like, okay, that priority needs to change. I need to rearrange my finances a little bit here. But I decided to make it a gift. I decided to make it something that was a blessing to me. And the blessing was deep down, I love to cook. And I wasn't actually letting myself cook because cooking takes more time and it takes more planning. And if it's easier to just DoorDash something, then I'm just going to DoorDash something, for the convenience. And I'm so busy and I run this business and I have so much going on in my life and blah, 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 blah. And so I stopped letting myself do something that I actually really, really love to do. And then when I was in a situation where I was like, okay, actually, all this money I'm spending on eating out is not the best use of my money. I need to rearrange something here in my budget. The other thing that came out of that was the gift of, and I get to reconnect with cooking, which I love. And I get to reconnect with something that matters a lot to me. And I am now being invited to make the space in my schedule and to prioritize my life effectively so that I can cook because I love to cook. And then it became, ooh, I'm doing something that I love and I'm making more space for my hobbies and I'm making more space for things that matter to me. And then again, it's like, ooh, my creativity is coming out and ooh, okay, other areas of my life are beginning to pop off and thrive again because I'm back in my element because I'm back to doing something that I love. But if I hadn't leaned in and said, okay, this is a season where I'm being called to organize my money differently, then I would have never gotten to the place where I was like, ooh, and now I get to spend more time doing something that matters to me. And now I get to spend more time doing what I love. And so really the key here is when you're in a situation that doesn't feel good to you, ask yourself, what's the gift? What's the blessing? Is there something where you haven't been letting yourself, fully legitimize a desire and now you're being put in a situation where you have to do that thing that you've been telling yourself, I don't have time to do. Another example could be maybe you never let yourself rest. Maybe you never let yourself take a break. And maybe you're burning out and you're at the point where you're like, I have no more energy. Maybe the gift of this is that you're going to finally take that break that you've been wanting to take. Maybe the gift of this is that you get to curl up with that book that's been sitting on your nightstand that you never touch. Maybe the gift of this is that you get to, finally watch that show that you've been meaning to check out. And then because you watch that show, you get to connect with your best friend who also watches that show. And then you're rekindling that relationship. And then all of a sudden your life is so much richer and so much deeper. But you had to let yourself take a break so you could watch the social, you could call your friends, so you could, what I'm saying? Like there's always a bigger reason why things are going quote unquote wrong. It's never just that like God hates you, which is obviously such a lie, but it's never just that like the universe is like shitting on you and just trying to make your life harder and like things are just hard because life is hard. Like that never has to be the answer. You never have to come to that conclusion. If you find yourself coming to that conclusion, the opportunity here is to just take a step back and do the work I talked about yesterday, like the forgiveness and the journaling and all, but also get yourself back to the place of like, I know God loves me. I know that my life is set up to support me. I know that everything that's happening is happening for my good and in my favor, and it's working out just for me. It's working out to grow me, and it's working out to grow my soul. So, soul, how do you want to grow in this situation? Like, why did you put me here? From a place of love, not from a place of like resentment of like, why am I in this situation? But like, soul, mature, spiritually mature conversation. Why did my soul put me here? What is the lesson? What is the gift? What is the opportunity? What is the energy of the situation? Not just what are the circumstances and the logistics of the situation. And from having that conversation with yourself, again, the level of peace you feel in your life gets to go up, and your ability to move through the situation and actually change the situation and change your life goes up as well. So that was really everything that I wanted to make sure that I said to you today. I have loved doing this. I love going live, and I love talking and sharing all of the different insights and wisdom that comes to me throughout my days and throughout my weeks and all these things, and turning my life experiences into stories that can really help you. If you want the replay of this emailed to you, you can go ahead and sign up for that either in my Instagram stories or in the YouTube chat. If you want to get on the waitlist for my U 2.0 retreat and spend a weekend surrounded by people who love having these kinds of conversations and really just getting to know other people who are on this journey of spiritual growth and personal growth and evolution, but doing it from a place of love and from a place of heart, then you can get on the waitlist for my U 2.0 retreat, which is happening in June. Waitlist closes March 20th. And until I see you next, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take good care. Okay. We ended the Instagram live. I'm going to end this one on YouTube. And thank you especially for everyone on YouTube hanging out with me, because I know I'm new to this, but I hope you can tell I am not new to being a coach. I'm not new to sharing spiritual teachings. I'm just new to this platform, and it really means the world to me that y'all are hanging out over on YouTube. Take care.